Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tyson Porter. It's your boy T Dog, T Bear. I have many nicknames. It's like, no, I'm kidding. Anyways, this is what I learned collecting $71,000, just about my first full time month in sales. So if you're looking to get into the money game, if you are in the money game, but you want to figure out how to make it a little bit faster, hopefully this will help. This is my story. This is what I learned. And just in case you think I'm lying, got 30 right here, right? And to my right, I have 40, right? Altogether, that equals 70, obviously. This is a little bit of what I've done. I painstakingly taken the time to screenshot all of these things. And so, I'm not capping. Mind you, this was right after I was broke. I got a whopping negative $225.41 in my account before this happened. So this is how I did it. Hopefully you can learn something. Hopefully I'll learn something actually sharing this as well. One of the first things I realized that I had to get my house in order. So what does that mean? My body, mind, and soul have to be in a position where I'm attracting my opportunities instead of chasing them. And if we go over here, um, around the time I started high ticket sales, I had to start over a lot. My life was really falling apart. My relationships falling apart. My career, didn't really know where I was going with my life. My finances, very deep in debt. Not knowing exactly where I should go, where I should be. But at the same time, when everything is falling apart, that's when God gives you the chance to actually start over and make a revolution. So that's how I saw it. That's what I picked up with. And one of the things that um, fell apart was my Instagram. I was really attached to it because I spent a lot of time building up this persona of being an artist and being a DJ and being, this philosopher, so to speak. And some asshole got into my account, changed the login and put this up there. So it's still there to this day. I honestly don't even know how to delete it. It's just there, um, which sucks. But it's like, again, it's part of the revolution, right? And at the same time, um, I was working at the Cheesecake Factory. And if you haven't worked there, um, it's you being on your feet for 5 hours at a time, maybe 10 hours at a time if you're working doubles. The people are great. Some people are, right? But this guy in particular, he's one of my boys, man. His name's John. I hope he's doing well. But I had a love-hate relationship with it. It definitely taught me how to be in front of people. It taught me how to serve. It taught me how to facilitate conversations. But being on your feet all day, it was just a grind, man. I had bad knees. My legs were hurting. My hips were hurting. It just wasn't very fun. So bottom line, I was cooked. I needed to make a change. Started doing research on what I could do to, use my gift of gab to start making some money. So, I went on YouTube, right? Just like anyone does. I came across a community and I joined it because I didn't have anything better to do, nor did I have any other better way to spend my money or my time. So I ran into this guy, Colby Lemon. He has a Discord, and he was teaching people how to, sell remotely. Right. I did some training in the past before, but it didn't really quite work out. I knew I just needed a change of pace. I needed a new community, and he was pretty quick about it. I mean, I answered it. It was free. Keep the date. This is the 12th of March rather. 12th of March. I hit him up, asked him, is he doing what I'm looking for, and he said, yeah. He texted me. It was pretty quick. It's pretty freaking quick. And we hopped on a sales call. I took the leap, right? He took my money. And this is how I saw it, right? This is why I took the leap, because I was at Cheesecake, and your cheesecake could be anything. Your 9 to 5, your old relationship. It doesn't matter what it is. The old car that you're driving, you probably should junk, right? It's not fun, right? You're basically in hell. You're burning. It's cold. Maybe it's kernel. Maybe it's cold and it's burning. What I don't know what your version of hell is, but it's dark. And right across, there's a chasm. There's a dark void, right? And right across, there's heaven, whatever you want to be. And to me, that was high ticket sales, right? So all I saw was freedom. I just wanted to take the leap. I just wanted to jump, just see where it goes, right? Because I had nothing else to lose at that point. And that is how I arrived to this beautiful number. This is the number that gave me the fuel to actually get out of my situation. And because I had other expenses at the time, this wasn't just because of the program. It was also because of, you know, I got bills, right? I'm a grown ass man. right? Telephone bills, um, car insurance, all that kind of stuff. So I bought the program, and there we go. We're diving into the chasm. We're diving into the realm of the unknown, right? And this is just Colby shouting at us. He's still shouting at us and using all caps, which is great. Love the energy. And he wants us to get inside of mock calls. And if you don't know what mock call is, it's basically where we screenplay us selling to someone on the other side of the phone, and we're learning how to do the damn thing. We're learning how to sell. So it's wax on, wax off, studying, speaking, studying, speaking, studying, speaking, studying, speaking. So you get into the cycle until you burn it. You sear the script into your memory, into your limbic system, or whatever you mean, your nervous system, until it's like all the way down pat. You don't even have to think about it anymore. Um, and that's what I did. I completely immersed myself into the game. I still am immersed and still am obsessed. And then you go after, you do all these mock calls. You figure out the common thread, and this is really what it is, right? You're starting off with someone's desire. Hey, how's it going? It's Tyson. Why'd you come in today? They tell you about your goals, and then you get into how far are you away from doing that, right? You get into the current situation, get them a little frustrated, make them understand that there is a gap between where they are, where they want to be, and then you got to dig even deeper. You got to make them feel the pain. What's going to happen if you continue to change? What's going to happen if you continue to not work out? What's going to happen if you continue not to make money? What's going to happen if you continue not to eat well, right? Right? What's going to happen? They're going to be they're going to stay stuck in hell, right? So the hope is when you start to pitch them the offer, right? That the offer is going to take them out of their hellscape, into a place of hope and into a place of excitement. And if you can get in there, then they're going to close. Okay, that's basically how it works. So diving even deeper, again, this is basically how to close, right? You are talking to someone, but the first time you're talking to them, especially if it's on the other side of the world, maybe other side of a laptop, you haven't met them before. There's a wall, right? So there's your reality, or the person you're selling for is reality. They got a great relationship, they got money in the bank, they maybe have a nice car, and there's the other person's reality. They might not have a nice car. They might not be doing well in their relationships, and their heart might be broken. It depends on the offer, right? So there's a wall there. Your realities are separate, and what you're doing across 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and you're merging the reality of you, the person who's doing really well, or the influencer you're selling for, and the other person. So if you can see their reality, and if they can see your reality, that means the wall will actually melt away, and two becomes one, and you make a handshake, and they buy it, right? That's basically it. So I was dialed in at this point. I knew it. Time to resurface, time to get out of that chasm, right? I had the game, I had the vision. You know what I'm saying? I felt very confident about my skill set. Um, but then there is the problem of not being a nobody. No one knew who I was, right? I was just this silhouette, right? Learning the game from the dungeon. I had to get up out of there. I had to get into society and figure this out. Okay. So this is what I did. I went into the Discord. I made myself a little loom, right? And I'm just, shouting people out. Peep the date, right? It's about a month later, okay? So shouting people out. This little homie right here was my favorite best friend in the world, because it just broke the ice. I liked him, so I just sent it to everybody. What's good? What's good? Me sending my loom. What's good? What's up? What's up? I'm reaching out like a madman because nobody knows me, right? So all the while I'm bending, I'm not breaking. Okay, and this is so important, especially when you learn everything you need to learn. You feel ready, but again, like, it's hard when no one knows you. No one really wants to give you a shot. It doesn't matter how good you are, but you have to have this in mind. And I kept this on my screen just to remind me that, bro, you are almost there. You are almost there, man. So yeah, I'm continuing to, maybe these dates are kind of fucked up, but it's all good. So I'm continuing to, reach out, not getting anything, not getting anything, not getting anything. Right, right, okay. And all the while, I'm still, boom, something happens. I send a loom. Someone's actually responding. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, this is starting to work. Okay, so peep the date, March 15th. So actually, this is 3 days later that I joined the program. Okay, so he wants to discuss on an offer. I knew it was coming, bro. I knew it was coming. Right? You just can't. You just can't give up. And he reached out the next day. He wanted to hop on a meeting. Um, wanted me as an appointment setter. I'll get into what that is later. But yeah, so what is that? Okay, so I hopped on the offer 2 days later, the 18th of March. We got our first deal. So that was amazing. Like it gave me a level of confidence that was it was unbelievable. Right, this is literally how I felt. I felt like I could do anything because I was serving before. Now I was making money online. Like you fucking kidding me? It's insane. So yeah, I was in the group for about a week. So it actually took me 6 days. I guess I got hyped, so I messed up the numbers, but it took me 6 days, right? Because I started on the 12th, and I got my first sale on the 16th. And this made me want to go after bigger fish, man. I'm not gonna lie, because you get that one little hit, you get that one little hit of dopamine. You're like, all right, what else can I do with this? What else can I do with this? You know what I mean? So 4 days later, there was another opportunity. We're at the 22nd of March at this point. I saw someone who honestly I really respected. I like the way he set up his loom. I mean, I like the way he set up his job posts. I went onto his YouTube. He seemed like a really cool dude, right? So I wanted to work for him. So this was honestly my big break. This is the man that helped me, gave me my shot in this space. His name is Joey Forsley, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. And I sent him a loom, man. He wanted people to send him a loom. He wanted also people to wear a white shirt and tell him exactly why you should be on this team, right? And I did everything. I followed it to a T, and I made it personalized. No generalized, vague, nincompoop nonsense, right? They don't want to hear that, right? They want to feel special because they are. They put in the work. They're a business owner. They're making money. So you want to make them feel like they're just the king of the ship because they are at that point, right? You got to know your role. And I was nervous as hell, man. I put everything into that loom, and he reached out. He said he liked it. He said, "My brother, let's hop on a call. Does 12 work for you?" And it did. Obviously, I mean, you could have said 3 a.m. in the morning. It would have worked for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I needed a job. So after that point, I was like, "Fuck it, bro. I ain't got no money coming in, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to make a bag real quick." So I quit my job. I went all in, and we didn't start until for another 8 days. Um, and honestly, a lot of doubt was getting to me, man. I was low key depressed. My mind was going crazy, just wondering if I made the right choice. Did I make the right choice? And should I quit my job? I don't know. I don't know. But like at the same time, you got to stand guard at the door. You have to stand guard at the door of your mind. Like that is the number one thing you need, especially if you're crossing the chasm, right? That's what it comes back to. If you are in the ordinary world at Cheesecake Factory at your 9 to 5 job and you're making that leap, like you have to protect your mind. Otherwise, you're just gonna get attacked from all sides and you're gonna go back to where you were before. So like I was giving myself affirmations. I didn't look like this dude. Might be a good little thing, but sticky notes ain't really my thing. But I had little things that I had to keep me up. What I mean, my wallpaper was on point on my phone, my MacBook. I had these little like scriptures and isms I would just tell myself just to keep myself in the game, right? And we started. The launch paid off, right? It paid off. So I became the top setter in that particular launch. We sold for about 8 days straight. I collected about $27,000, so that was amazing. And I felt like I finally crossed over. You know what I mean? I'm not I'm not rich. Obviously, I'm far from it. I'm just starting. But that first little like break you get, it's everything, man. Because at that point, like you just know that it's real. And I feel like I finally crossed over to the other side. And what happens? I finally became a somebody in the space. I feel like everybody's a somebody. But if you're getting into a new arena, a new venture, if you will, no one really knows who you are. So you got to make a name for yourself. And so I did that. So I used the opportunity to sell for this guy, and I also used the opportunity that was presented to me when the individual decided to hack my Instagram account. I just made another one. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Maybe this is like a sign that I should start over. So I did that. So all of that energy I pumped into the sale and doing what I did, I just put it on my Instagram. This is my highlight. This is my highlight reel. So this is what you see here. So April 10th, I started posting our wins because it was over. This is how the sales team did. We did a phenomenal job. Collected $70,000. This is how I did, obviously. And as you can see, there is a ton of screenshots of me doing the thing, setting these appointments, right? And that's what you need, right? Because you have an undeniable amount, a quantity of social proof. I mean, who's going to say no, right? Who's going to say no? But on top of that, I wanted to show that I was also a family man. You know what I mean? Like I love the word. I love the Bible. It's my father right here, my brother. It's me. I'm a family guy. I wanted to show, how my Instagram is pretty popping. I only had 29 followers, but I was doing pretty well. I mean, people are actually interested in what I had to say, so that's pretty cool. My mom obviously is in there. She's got a book out, ladies and gentlemen. It's called The Weather Officer. If you are into Black culture, please check her out. Shameless plug, but I don't care. That's my mom. Shout out to moms. All right. So next we have the invoice that he sent me. This is my first big check, if you will, into the game. And again, I'm not rich, but it was enough for me not to go back to my 9 to 5 because sales moves quick. So you could get paid every week, every 2 weeks, and if you're doing a good job, you can move fast enough to where you don't have to go back. And that was huge for me. Um, Not also for me, but also to share with other people that I'm actually doing the thing. And it's also inspiring for people who actually want to get into the game. This is a little bit of my music that I like. I need to post more stuff on there, but I'm a big music head. It's just me showing myself who I am. Testimonials from when I did copywriting for back in the day. Shout out to Sire. More client wins. Obviously, this is from my past life when I did copywriting. And then what happens? Like more people want to follow you, right? So I got Joey following me, Jack, Micah. These people are in the sales world. So it just looks like I'm legit because I mean, I actually kind of am. You know what I mean? I actually kind of am. So what does that all amount to? Well, good work leads to more work. So not only did I do a good job, but obviously if you're making these people a shit ton of money, like they're gonna want to hire you for more stuff. They're gonna want to keep you around. So this is one example of him, wanting to bring me on. And other people take notice, right? Other people put you in group chats, and other people want to reach out to see if they can get you on your team. And that's the point, right? You're putting up big numbers. You're showing people. It's like, okay, this guy must really know what he's doing. Um, and at that point, I mean, I have a little bit of leverage, right? Instead of going out and chasing people, people coming to me, right? I think that's a pretty good position to be in. And at this point, I mean, I was low-key feeling myself. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was feeling. I put in all this work. You know what I mean? I went into the dungeon. I came up. I made a little bit of money. I feel like that's pretty sweet. I feel like that's pretty sweet. So here's what you can do, man. And here's what I've learned in my I'm in the infant stages of my career, but I feel like I've done pretty well. So first couple things you want to understand is that you got to get clear on your target. How much money do you want to be making per month? Know your numbers, reverse engineer how this all works, and the culture you want to be a part of. Okay, so on the left, we have how much closers get. So a closer, if you don't know, is the last line of defense. It's when the lead goes all the way up. You're going to make the decision, and you're just trying to get them over the line. You're trying to get them inside the program, run their card, get them excited about making a change, and you are generating revenue for the company. So think about it. If you are a closer, you're making 10% basically of every dollar that comes into the company that you contribute to. So that means every $10,000 that you collect for the company, you're making $1,000 in commission because it's 10%. So if you're a setter, the setter is the individual that comes before the closer that sets up the closing call, right? You are making $1,000 per $20,000 cash collected that you make because it's only 5% industry standard. So if you want to make $100,000, if you want to make $5,000 rather, as a setter, you would need to collect $100,000, right? As a closer, if you want to make 5,000, I'm getting that right, you need to collect $5,000, right? And it happens at scale. So you got to know your numbers, work your way back. And also, this is extremely important. You got to work with people you genuinely want to hang out with. If you share the same values, if you share the same humor, you guys might be, a part of the same time zone. It just helps a lot more because I've been on teams where I just didn't necessarily vibe with the culture. Doesn't mean they weren't doing well. It just doesn't mean I wasn't culturally a good fit, right? That happens. And if that happens when you're not a good fit, you're not going to want to show up to meetings. You're not going to want to be present on your calls because like the energy is just off. And we are in an industry where your energy has a direct impact on your performance because we're speaking. That's what we do. So if you're not really clear on who you want to be with, you might want to do some soul searching, my brother. You might want to do some soul searching. Get right with God. You know what I mean? So basically, this is the numbers again. So, for example, if I'm going to offer the setting that costs $4,000, right? And I get 5% of every single close. So if I'm a setter, I hand them to the closer, they close it, I get 5% of that, right? If I set four of those a day, so let's say I'm on the phones all day, I set four of those people. Four people say, you know what? I agree with what you got to say, Tyson. I'm going to go on this phone with the closer and I'm going to hop on this call. Okay. Four of those people do that per day. And only one out of those people that I sent to the closer actually closed because industry standard states that the closing rate is about 30%. That's the average. So one out of four closes. How much cash am I collecting? How much commissions am I earning over a 30-day period? If you do the math, you know what I mean? One of those closes, offer price is $4K. You get 5%, which is $200, right? 5% of 4,000 is 200. You do that once a day. One closer of those four, one of those close a day. Over a 30-day span, which is a month, give or take, you will collect $120,000 for the company and you will earn $6,000. It's not bad. So again, in summary, if you are a setter, if you're doing this about 6 to 8 hours a day, you're managed to setting four appointments. If one of those four is set, you're making about $6,000 if the offer is 4K. Okay. And again, you can run the numbers. Everyone's offer is a little bit different. And if an offer or a team doesn't give you the chance to hit those numbers, either number wise or culture wise, don't burn bridges. Just leave, right? Just head out. Just, ju- just head out. Okay. Because it's not going to be worth it, right? You're going to waste their time. You're going to waste the operator's time. And most importantly, you're going to waste your time. And your time and energy is valuable. So treat it as such, please. So when you get into the space, if you're in a community and there's offers flying left and right, you're going to get pretty excited. You're not really going to know which offer should I go to, which one is the best, which one is legit, which one isn't. How am I going to know if this is the right fit for me? These are some of the questions I would be asking, and yeah, it'll just help you vet the situation way more before getting into it, because you don't want to get into a situation and you double back because you realize it just wasn't it, right? So number one question, how much cash did the company collect? And this is extremely important because as a sales team, your number one job is to collect cash. That's what we do. That's our number one goal. And that is the pie from which you're eating from. Okay. So again, we get a percentage of the dollar that comes in every single, we get a percentage of the dollars that come into the company, right? So let's say, for example, if they're collecting $100,000, that's one pie. If they're collecting $2,000, that's a little bit of a bigger pie. $300,000, that's a little bit of a bigger pie. So you want to get an understanding of how well this machine is running, and what's your chance of actually hitting your goals? Because again, you got to reverse engineer. If you want to make $10,000, well, as a closer, the company has to be at least making $10,000. You know what I'm saying? I mean, $100,000 revenue, right? It's all about the math. Okay. Okay, next. So team size. This is huge because this also represents the slice of the pie that you are going to be eating from. So let's say, for example, someone says we're running at about $100,000, right? That's how much we made last month. But the sales team, there's like 8 different sales reps on there. Well, what does that mean? That means at scale, I mean, it's not going to be, it's probably not running very smoothly, but your slice is going to be very thin. You know what I mean? For example, $100,000, let's say there's 5 reps on the team. So on average, each rep is probably bringing in about $20,000 cash collected. So what does that mean? They're probably making on average a band a month. And I mean, that's not livable, right? So you need a bigger piece of the pie. Um, and obviously that's at scale. So what I think is, personally, I think there should be one setter and one closer per $100,000 cash collected, because again, it gives you that's how the numbers work. It gives you room to breathe. It makes you feel like you can actually make a livable wage while working for this company. You're not competing for leads. It's not a dogfight for every single lead that comes in. So I think those are the two most important questions to ask, so you can know what your ceiling is and also know how much room there is to grow. Earning history. So can they show a scoreboard? Every community, every company should have a scoreboard of how much cash they're collecting for every single rep. They should be able to show you this. Honestly, I think that's pretty fair, because I think transparency is key. And if the top performer they collected $100,000 and they made $5,000 in commissions, then obviously you can do it. So it gives you proof that this is actually possible. So the lead flow, where are they coming from? Are they inbound? Are they warm? Where they're coming from ads, are they ice cold? This all determines whether or not how easy the sale is going to be. If they really know the creator that you're working for, they really want to do it. They've been following them for years. It's going to be an easy sale. But also, like, what kind of people are we talking to? Are we talking to TikTok teenagers? Are we talking to grown folk who have businesses? Because that experience, bro, is completely different. The TikTok teenagers, bro. Again, like, I love my teenagers, but like, their minds just aren't yet congealed to the point where they have it all together. So a lot of the times, unfortunately, they do lie. A lot of the times they might not have the money. A lot of the times they're living with their parents. It just makes the sales a little bit more difficult. But if you are talking to grown folk, their heads are on straight. They have the money. They know what they want. Right? It's just they're just a little bit further within the evolution of their lives. So it's just easier to make a sale. But again, you might want to sell to teenagers. Who knows? But it makes the quality of your work a huge thing because again, we're talking to people. We're exchanging energy for work. So that's important. Offer simplicity. This is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, how explainable is this offer? Is it in the zeitgeist of the culture, or is it somewhere far off in the west corner of who gives a fuck, right? So how complicated is it? How familiar is it? And that facilitates whether or not the sale is going to be easy or not. OTE. So OTE is on track earnings. And a lot of people in this space, the OTE isn't necessarily real. They say like, oh, on track earnings, if you hit, $100 a day, you should be projected to make about 3K to 6K a month. And you go into it, and nine times out of 10, it's not really the case because they don't have the lead flow to facilitate that. The offer doesn't facilitate that. The fulfillment doesn't facilitate that. So you got to ask how many people are actually hitting that number, right? So if the OTE, if the on track earnings are 3K to 6K, how many people are actually hitting 3K? Or are they just saying that to actually bring you in the door? So market fit, obviously, is it in demand right now? Is it not? Is it popping? Is it not? Is it something that the people want, or is it just something that y'all just made up and you're gonna pray to God that people actually want to buy it? Okay. So in my opinion, if you ask these questions, these very poignant, penetrative questions, and they dodge these things, it's not, in my opinion, it's not a good look. Like I feel like a professional company that you want to work for is going to tell you these numbers. They're going to be proud of what they're doing. And if they're not, they're hiding something. They're hiding something. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of smoke and mirrors involved with this industry. So don't make a decision from desperation. I know if you're working and you're slaving at a 9 to 5 and you're thirsty for some kind of online money, I get it, but you don't want to start off on the wrong foot because it's going to get you jaded. You're going to think this thing is a scam. You're going to want to give up, and you're going to be cooked. So make sure you go through the right door the first time. It's going to save you a lot of trouble, a lot of emotional labor, and a lot of time. Okay, next. So once you get into an opportunity that aligns with your value system, your financial goals, now it's time to get cracking, right? Now it's time to actually dial. Now it's time to get on the phone. Now it's time to make some money. So how do you make the most out of it, right? You got to think like an operator. And 9 times out of 10, if you're working for a company that's legit, you're going to be working under a growth operator. And those are the people that facilitate the backend systems, emails, AI, Zaps, like, Slack channels. Like those are going to be those kind of people. And these people obsess over minimizing friction and maximizing momentum because that is the name of the game. Okay. Sales is all about speed. So the less friction you have, the more momentum you have, the faster things go, the faster we can make sales. And the more calls you can make, the more cash is in your pocket. So think about this like a tree, okay? Work with me here. So a tree works off of photosynthesis. All it's trying to do is gather energy. Like trees really got this shit down packed, right? You think about sunlight as traffic, okay? Eyeballs, attention that's coming into a business. A tree is capturing, right, this energy, the sunlight or traffic, and it's converting that into energy it can use to scale itself out, to grow. You got to think about it. A leaf essentially is a sales rep, or a leaf essentially a marketing asset that's capturing energy, sunlight, attention, whatever you want to call it, is funneling it into its system, and it's using that to grow. So trees are extremely efficient at doing this. They've been doing this for who knows how long, and a business had also run the same way. So your business is going to be running out of your laptop, right? This is your work desk. This is your desk, right? This is your cubicle, whatever you want to call it. So you want to make sure it's as clean as possible because again, you want to minimize friction and maximize momentum. You want to be able to go into your laptop, make a dial, and then book someone within 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe. So there's a Google Chrome extension called Momentum. I love it. It's free, and this is what it looks like. It's beautiful. It has a little motivational stuff right here. It says good morning. Here's my schedule right there on the top left corner. It's just it's great. It's great for productivity. It's free. This is what it is. Get Chrome, get Momentum. I promise you will not regret it. Also, you can make dials off of your phone as a setter, obviously. So you want to make sure your phone is clean as well. If you have like a ton of apps just all over the place that don't mean anything, they're all in random categories, and that's just scrambling your brain. Okay, so you want to be able to streamline your brain. This is what I have. I have Slack, Discord, Go High Level, and iMessage. Those are the four things that make me money. So I want those to be at the forefront of my phone. So yeah, again, you want to get your workflow together. So ideally, if you're a setter, obviously if you're someone that's coming into the place of business, into the GHL, into the customer service, customer relationship management software, you're picking up the phone. These people are busy, man. Most people are busy, but especially if you're talking to business owners, they're even more busy. They don't want to be on the phone with you, right? They just want to book the call, go to the next step. So ideally, you want to be doing this in 5 minutes, okay? So just imagine if someone's walking to a restaurant, and if you're having been a server, that's fine. But if someone walks into a restaurant, they're waiting around, no one's paying attention to them, they're going to get frustrated, and what are they going to do? They're going to leave, okay? So you got to treat this the same way. If someone walks into your place of business, you want to be able to meet them right then and there, okay? So speed to lead. So this is a bunch of statistics that came out. I don't know where, if lean data, but basically you're 21 times more likely to convert a lead into an opportunity when responding 5 minutes or less, as opposed to having just one an hour lapse. So 21 more times is 21 more times money in the bank for you and the company. So speed to lead, speed to lead, speed to lead. Okay, so this is how I manage my data, all the numbers that come in, all the tools that I have. Notion is great. Um, this is my motherboard essentially. So I have all my quick references. I got Slack. I got the numbers for my closers. I got the offer details, the call recorder. Got my tracker sheet. Um, this is also interesting. So working remotely, obviously, you're going to get a lot of inbound calls if you are in the United States from foreign countries because they're interested. So what I came across was you don't you don't even consider that these people are 12 hours ahead, 5 hours behind, right? This is you might be calling someone. It might be 12 o'clock p.m. your time, but someone else's time is 3 a.m. in the morning. You're not supposed to call them. You know what I mean? Also, the currency is different. It's something I didn't really consider. So if you're calling from someone from the Philippines, the currency is going to be a little different than you're calling for someone from the UK or South Africa or Canada or Bangladesh, right? And obviously, some currencies are weaker than others. So you want to be able to know based off of the phone number where they are in the world, how much is their currency, and can I call them or can I not call them at this point in time? It's huge. You really want to know this. You really want to have information like this. And the way I see it is in terms of currencies goes, because there's been a lot of instances where we didn't check for their currency. They went through and it turns out, I mean, in US dollars, unfortunately, they did not have a lot of money. So that's how I like to see it. If they have a 1 to 30 ratio in terms of US dollar to their currency, it's a good range. They're probably going to be able to facilitate a transaction there, a deal there. If it's from 30 to 50, you're kind of pushing it. Places like Thailand, Malaysia, those kind of places. And unfortunately, there are currencies that just their economy have not, for whatever reason, they have not facilitated a strong infrastructure. The fiscal system has been compromised. So it's going to be hard for you to do business with someone like that. So it's going to be tough, right? It's going to be tough. And again, I have my SOPs here, standard operating procedures. And as a setter, I mean, you're really doing four things. You're categorizing people by name, phone number, and you're going to make judgments off that based off socioeconomic status and things of that nature. You're getting on the phone with him. You're coordinating a call. When can we speak? Can we speak now? Can we speak later from now? Oh, I'm busy. Okay, fine. We'll text back later. And then you're qualifying them. So every single team has a script, but you're supposed to ask them certain questions so you can qualify these people to make sure we can actually do business. And if you don't properly qualify them, you're going to send someone to the closer. They're just not going to be a good fit, and that's a bad look on you. Okay, you don't want that. And again, you want to get them to commit. So, how exactly are you setting up this call? Are you putting them in a group chat? Are you plugging them into a calendar? How exactly does this work? Okay. And then the lead list. This is something that you should have separately, at least in my opinion. So this is everything that you have spoken about with your leads, whether or not you booked them, whether or not they hung up on you, whether or not they only have $400. And this gives you a complete log of everything that has happened so you can reference it in the future. And this is the result of having solid systems. So it's almost like riding a bike, right? At first, not necessarily know how to ride a bike. It's going to be clunky. You're going to be tripping all over the place. It's unconscious competence. You don't know what you don't know. Then you start to really consciously think about, okay, this is the gear. This is where I should put my hands, and this is how fast I should go. You're thinking about it. You're doing it, um, and then you know how to do it. Okay, it's like, all right, this is cool. I can ride a bike. And then you get to the point where like you're kind of just you're riding the bike and you're not even thinking about it. Like you might be riding with no handlebars, bro. You might be popping a wheelie. You know what I'm saying? Like because you're just so good at it. And there'll be times where my script was so dialed in that I would be there, I would be saying the words, and I would be booking the calls and facilitating the sets, but my mind just wasn't there because like unconsciously I just knew it just came out because I was proficient at this particular skill, and that's what you want. So that's basically it. First step on how I did this: get your house in order, mind, body, and spirit, and of course your social media. Make sure your shop is ready to go, so other people can actually go inside and actually feel attracted to giving you an opportunity. Then start outreaching. Like don't be denied. One yes can change everything. You saw what I had to go through. One guy who said, you know what, I think you got what it takes. You know, they let me in the door and I blew that motherfucking down. So there you go. So third step, you got to get clear on your numbers and your cultural fit. So um, financially and emotionally reverse engineer your dream life around this industry. Again, closers 10%, setters 5%. Reverse engineer how much money do you want to make, and then culturally, you want to understand who you want to be around, who you don't want to be around. And then fourth step, when you get a shot, get organized. Okay, get your workflow together because your workflow is directly correlated to your cash flow, like literally directly correlated. So you know, if you want to get numbers like this, anybody can do it. I'm no different. You know what I mean? I'm just obsessed about it, and I love the game, and you can do it too, obviously. So if you have any questions, you know, hit my IG, Tyson W Porter. Yeah, I am debating about this, but I feel like, man, I'm getting a lot of questions. A lot of people trying to take up, you know, a good chunk of my time lately. But you know, if you really do have a question, we can set something up, right? We can set something up. But follow me there. Hit me up before you follow me, and you know, go from there. I hope this helps. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment if this made sense. And yeah, let's get it. All right. Have a good rest of your day. Happy Cinco de Mayo, people. Peace.